Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So first of all, thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. It's really amazing to have so many people on my channel, and we are continuously growing. And before we get started, first of all, thanks a lot to my patrons who make everything possible. So recording the podcast, releasing podcasts on a weekly basis, creating videos and so on. So thank you so much to my patrons, and I'll overlay a slide now with all the names of my Patreons. If you also want to become a patron, link will be down in the description. I would be happy if you support the channel. Second of all, regarding support, you can also now become a member on my channel, as you might have seen. So if you want to become a member and use awesome Elon Musk emoticons, make sure to do so, and you can, if we have a live stream, use Elon Musk emoticons. More on him later. You guys sent me some questions via Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn, so I think we'll just jump straight into it. So Laura from Twitter is asking, do you plan to do videos other than the podcast, for example doing a video about geometric deep learning? Thank you so much, Laura, for your question. So the plan actually is, so I'm working on a thesis right now which covers geometric deep learning in the sense, but it's more about using generative adversarial networks, so short GANs, as well as RL, which stands for reinforcement learning, to predict some kind of geometries. It sounds quite easy, but it actually isn't. So that's the plan for my thesis, and the goal of my thesis is to predict. So once an engineer chooses a model, or maybe something he wants to model, and the AI agent sees what he or she wants to model, then the agent gives some suggestions to the engineer. Hey, I think you want to model X or Y. So that's basically the plan of my thesis. I don't have a definite description of the title yet, so we'll see how that goes. And I was planning to do some kind of vlogging style for my videos. If you're interested in that, just let me know in the comments, and if you have the time, we can plan for it. Next question from Dora from LinkedIn. I would love to learn more about learning. Why is it so pleasing to learn new information to serve to read Wikipedia? I'm sure there is some neurochemical gratification involved. Thank you so much, Dora, for your question, and it's super interesting that you asked that, because I took some notes a month ago, so from a class that exists on Coursera, and it actually deals with how to learn and how learning affects our brain, when to take breaks and so on. And that's super interesting, and I'm planning to do kind of a beginner's guide or like a short video on how learning actually works. If you have the chance, or maybe you know someone who is into maybe neuroscience and an expert in this field, let me know and I'll make sure to contact them to have him as a guest on my podcast series. So let's see how that goes. Next question is from Cunha BHTX from Instagram. What do you think of Elon Musk? Thank you for your question, Cunha. So I know that I can trigger a lot of people by admiring Elon Musk, which I'm not going to do, because I think that he's very inspiring, and he's inspiring like millions of people on Earth and soon on Mars. Anyway, he's very inspiring to me, and he's like one of my heroes, and I hope to have him in my podcast at some point, if I'm maybe bigger. Let's see. A lot of people are triggered, like, why do you like Elon Musk? He's like, he's a rich guy, and he's like this, he's like that. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything Elon does or says, but I think most of the things he do are like really awesome. And I mean, that's that. I'll put an Elon Musk meme somewhere like in the video right now, so to trigger people even more. But so that's that. So it's basically the same as with Jeff Bezos, you know, people like hating him on Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram, and be like sitting on their computers, be like, Jeff Bezos is such a jerk, and then 5 minutes later they'll be like, oh, my Amazon package arrived. Anyway, that's that. Next question is from Meg Jenkins. How awesome is it to work at SimScale with Meg? One word: amazing. I hope that answers your question. Next question is from Marcus from Instagram, who asks your personal opinion how the future will be regarding to AI. What will be possible, what not? That's a good question, Marcus, and I would wish I knew that, what's possible and what not. What I hope for is that AI will become much more powerful, but not in a dystopian kind of way, where like iRobot kind of scenario, where like AI takes over, or like Terminator kind of scenario. So I hope that AI will become much stronger and helps augment humans and help humans in ways we didn't even imagine. So yeah, let's see what the future brings. So I'm quite optimistic. Next question is from Siddharth. Can we expect structured online classes with certifications on subjects like AI from your website? This might attract many students to the website. So regarding courses in general, there are some courses planned, but I want to make sure that they are top-notch and are very high in quality, and that the quality production or production value is like very high level. So I won't release any courses once I'm happy with my production value that I can offer to the people out there. And I plan to do like a long video series on the channel about a specific topic, which I'll announce soon, but I won't give away too much. Regarding AI courses, I'm not an expert in the field, but I plan to do some beginner's guides, like how CNNs work, how can you derive backpropagation, why is it so important, what is the stochastic gradient descent, and so on, like the basics, because I'm not an expert and not even an intermediate. But I think by teaching these kind of concepts, it becomes easier to me as well. And I think teaching from a beginner's perspective isn't even that harmful to others, because you have this kind of beginner mindset, and I think that helps a lot of people. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Next question is from CFD 2020, who asks, how long do you work for SimScale? I think I started October 2016, so it's almost 4 years. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. It was quite short. Again, Marcus is asking, could you imagine when you started the channel that you'll have 5k followers? Congrats, by the way. Thanks a lot, Marcus. And I actually thought about getting 5k subscribers, and I'm still waiting for this critical mass to explode. But the goal still is to reach 50k subs this year and 1 million in general. But I'm not too obsessed with numbers, because once you become obsessed with numbers, once you reach that goal, you're getting into a very big, you're getting into this kind of low where hopefully not getting depressed and so on. So I'm not fixing my happiness to numbers, I'm just doing it. So that's why I also mix a lot of stuff, where I do podcasts, then some live streams, then some theoretical stuff from time to time, just to mix things up so it won't get too monotonous. Otherwise I'm not enjoying doing it. So I mix things up, so just that you know. Next question is from Deepak. He asks, or he says, Brokaw, Brofist, Brokaw. Who is your hustle bro? Oh yeah, so he basically wants to say congrats. So thanks a lot for your congratulations. I really appreciate it. Jonas Shira is asking, would you work for a big company in the future? And the question is, it depends what you define as big. I used to work at the assembly line for Mercedes, and I enjoyed it money-wise, but I didn't enjoy it in terms of work. And if money is your motivator, you can definitely join a big company. But if you want to have an impact, I think startups are a great way to have an impact and to have this kind of flat hierarchical structures, because I'm not a big fan of these big corporations where you have big gaps between the hierarchies. So it's not my cup of tea, to be honest. I hope that answers your question. McShay is asking, when did you decide to become a YouTuber? I actually didn't decide to become this classical kind of YouTuber thing, but I actually wanted to teach people and to increase my teaching skills, presentation skills in front of the camera, which I think have improved. I'm way more comfortable in front of the camera than I was in the beginning. You can have a look at my early videos. It's super awkward to see them. So I think I improved there, but there's a lot of improvement still. So I'm working on that. Also in terms of production value, as I mentioned, I'll soon up the production value soon, by 10x or so. You'll see it once the video quality improves. So let's wait for that. Dhruv is asking, what inspired you most about CFD? I want to know, because even I have interest in this field. So if you have interest in this field, Dhruv, I would say just go for it. If you're passionate about it, you will be successful. And what interests me about CFD was I listened to a lecture in fluid mechanics, which was about turbulence and the closure problem and these kind of models like RANS, LES, DNS. Well, DNS is not a model. But this kind of turbulence things, and that it's not predictable and so on, that kind of fascinated me because it was kind of hard to understand. So I really wanted to delve deeper into this kind of subject, for example, or in particular, turbulence modeling, which I did in my master's. So that got me interested into CFD, and the professor who taught CFD or turbulence model in my master's from the civil engineering department, he really inspired me to keep doing this. And I actually took 3 courses from him, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's that. How far do you think we are from AI supremacy, asks Deepak. I don't know, and as I mentioned earlier on, I hope that we aren't far away from AI supremacy, because I really want to know. I really want to see what AI supremacy can do for society, for people, and especially for people who are disadvantaged. I would be happy to see what it can bring to the world. excluding like this kind of dystopian scenario, as I mentioned earlier on. Count Josh is asking, what was the first project you saw that got you into machine learning data science? I'm not too much interested in data science, to be honest. It's interesting, but not that I want to delve like super deep into it. What I'm currently doing is like on the side, learning a bit about Unity and artificial intelligence in Unity. For example, how a robot can pick up bananas and bad bananas and can distinguish between them. It's kind of interesting and kind of maybe sounds stupid, but it's super cool and super interesting to make a machine learn or make an algorithm learn. So that's super interesting. And the first project that got me into AI, I think, was the project from OpenAI, which is or the Dota bot. So they first started with a Shadow Fiend. So the hero was called Shadow Fiend, which was a 1 versus 1 project. So they played middle. And that was kind of inspiring to see how the bot improved over time. And then they went to 5 versus 5, which is even more complex. It was so inspiring to see that. And that's why I want to delve more into the field of reinforcement learning, understand the concepts, and yeah, let's see what the future brings. Akul Butt is asking, please tell us about your journey, both academic and professional. That actually would be too long to cover that in one video. But before my studies, I worked a lot of jobs, like working in like big markets where I counted screws and stuff like that. So when I was 16, basically, I worked kind of the dirty jobs. And then before my studies, I worked at an assembly line, as I mentioned, at Mercedes. Continued doing that during my studies. Then in the third semester, I actually picked up like my real first research scientist kind of job, where I did contact mechanics studies with Abacus, which is an finite element software. And then I continued from there on. So I did some tutor jobs. Actually, I started working in the third semester, and then I had continuously jobs. I never had a break, like from my third semester up until now. So I actually never had a break between jobs, and I'm still working. And then I started, even before I finished my bachelor's, I started working at SimScale, and now I almost work full time and doing my thesis and doing YouTube and doing some other stuff on the side. So somehow it works, but sometimes I'm like super exhausted. So it actually doesn't answer your question, but I hope it answers somehow your question. If you want to know more about my journey or my academic or professional career, you can basically add me on LinkedIn. I'll put the link down below in the description, and you can see basically where I worked from age, 18 to now. I hope that answers your question. So that was it for the Q&A. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions to me, you can reach out to me via Instagram or Twitter. I'm most active on Twitter at the moment, so make sure to follow me there. And I'm really happy and really thrilled to see what the future brings, especially for this channel and how much people we can impact on the world. I have so many plans, that my to-do list is like super big, and I'm trying to put out more. The plan is to do the next videos about finite element analysis, what convergence means in FEA, and what convergence means in CFD. But before we do CFD convergence, we first have to maybe talk about what Y+ is, but I'll see what I'll do. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below. And side note here, by the way, I did a podcast with a person who knows Elon Musk quite well. I want you to write it down in the comments who you think it is. If you guessed it right, I'll give you a heart for your comment. And if you're wrong, I'll just comment on it and maybe tell you to guess even more. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the first Q&A. Maybe I talked too much. Maybe let me know in the comments down below how I can improve doing videos. I think I got more comfortable in front of the camera, but if I talk too much or maybe too fast, too slow, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll make sure to improve from there. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. And as always, make sure to keep engineering your mind, guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
It's all about humanity.